guys, it's Jen. I'm back with another collection disconnection video. Last week I talked about how a lot of kits have repeating elements throughout all of the different products. So I used the word hello a couple of different times and it appears several times throughout the collection. Another thing that appears throughout this collection is cats. And I wanted to show you again how you can run with that and put a ton of cats on one layout, but also how sometimes things like that can inspire a layout. So we have a cat. I'm not a huge cat fan, but my daughter loves her cat and it's hers. And I haven't really scrapbooked about her and her cat before. So I have these pictures of her. They're from a few years ago, but that's okay. Of her and Ariel, which is our cat. And the products really inspired me to tell this story because I had kind of not really thought about it since, like I said, I'm not a huge cat fan. I don't really care about the cat, but it's important to her, so that's important for me to document. So I am using that as my inspiration. So don't forget that even if a kit has something that maybe you think at first you don't use those things when you scrapbook, think about how it can inspire you to tell a story you haven't told. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'll put you on fast forward and we will get creating this kitty layout.
So I'm going to start off by just trimming down my photos. I printed the photos on my Canon selfie printer, which I love. And a few layouts back, I did a layout where I used an older photo, but I did current journaling, kind of like a reflective journaling. And I'm doing the same thing today. So I mentioned before, I'm not really a cat person, but my daughter loves her cat. And I like the cat too because she kills spiders and mice and snakes and stuff. And so I'm going to talk about that in the journaling, and I'll just date the photos separately from the journaling. So I am pulling out some of the papers to use. I know for sure that I'm going to use that cat paper, and I was thinking about this red because there's a lot of red. My daughter's wearing a red dress and she has a red bow on in the photos. I thought about basing my layout on that red piece of paper, but my instincts took over and I went to my white background. You definitely could base the layout on a darker color, but right now my aesthetic is kind of a lighter feel, and so that's what I'm naturally drawn to. So that's what I'm going to go for. I'm going to spell out the word Ariel, which is the cat's name, with these stickers. And I didn't have an R, so I'm going to make one. At first I thought I'd use that B, but then I end up using this P and cutting a little piece off of an X to make the tail for the R. And it's the same pattern, so it works out well. And I'm just going to lay it on some wax paper so that I can move the title around. I'll end up changing that I out for a blue one. Oh no, I don't. I changed it from a blue one to a pink. I'm going to keep this layout mostly pink, red, and yellow. And here I'm going to cut a strip of that cat paper, and I'm making it so that 4 rows of cats show. And I'm going to use that at the top to kind of anchor my photos. So you can anchor photos in a few different ways. You can put something on the side. As long as your photos overlap it, it's kind of an anchoring piece. So in this instance, my photos are kind of hanging from it. I'm making a line with my photos, and that creates a little space underneath those 2 smaller photos to put the title. And I know that I want to use a bunch of these little cats in a row or all next to each other. And so I just kind of layered them up to the side of the title there. And I cut that meow piece out of the cut apart sheet to put next to the photo. I'll end up switching that out for a die cut in a minute. This layout was really super fast, and I was working fast, so I'm sorry if it feels like I'm struggling to keep up, but I made this quickly. I cut that red strip to go underneath the cat paper, but it didn't work, and so I just cut it in half and layered it below the title, and I kind of like the way it kind of closes that in. It just creates a resting space for the title. It didn't need that, but I like the way that it turned out looking. And then that yellow piece is just a branding strip from a different piece of paper. So I'm pulling out every single little cat thing that I can find that's from the kit, including this meow cut apart from the 6x6 paper pad. So that's the same one that's sitting to the left of my photo right now. and I'm just going through the papers to see if there's something else I want to add. I thought maybe I needed to bring in another color to the layout, but I won't end up doing that. I'm looking through the die cuts to see if there's anything else that I want to include. I have a lot of die cuts left still. I'm going to use that love and hello, and then I found one of the die cuts had that meow on it, and I'm going to use that instead of that paper one. So I'm going to use the thicker die cut one just because it's slightly smaller and I don't have that much space next to the photo there. I pulled out some of the felt hearts that came in the die cut package, and I'm going to use some of those. I have red and yellow. And I also pulled out that little A is from the cut apart sheet from the 6x6 paper pad, and I thought I might include it for the name Ariel of our cat, but I end up not using it. So I'm just going to start gluing things down, and because that red strip didn't work underneath the cats, I still felt like it felt unfinished, so I just put a line just across the bottom of it. So I was too lazy to put black thread in my sewing machine, or I might have stitched it with black. I felt like it needed the heaviness of the black, not just white, so I just drew a line with my black Muji pen that I am obsessed with. And now I'm going to put down my title. And I really like the way it kind of just snuggles in underneath those two photos. And then I will get my cats laid down. So if you'll notice, those cats, that bottom one on the red bordered die cut is looking to the right, and then the next one looks to the left, and then the top one looks back to the right. And I did that on purpose so that the cat's eyes weren't all looking off of the page, so that it goes left, right, left. And I like it. And I popped that sticker, so the pink one is a sticker, I popped that up on some thin foam tabs. So now I'm going to lay down these red strips, and I kind of like the way that it just kind of looks like those fell there. And I'm just adhering that yellow strip beneath it. I want a little bit more to poke out of the side so you can see the yellow. That helps to tie in the yellow at the top of the layout. So I'm making sure as I'm doing this that I have an even distribution of color. And I like the black cat up next to the left of the photo because there's a black E in the title, and so it kind of balances that a little bit. With the hearts, I'm going to put the yellow one down on the red paper, and I'm going to put the red one up towards the top so that, again, that color balance comes in because I don't have that much yellow down at the bottom compared to what I have at the top. So now I'm thinking that I might layer up some of these pieces underneath the photo to kind of fill in that little space, but I'll end up moving them, and I'm going to kind of create a loose diagonal line going from the left to the right of embellishment. And that love will stay right there. That little meow card will change here in a second. I am going to put that puffy cat there. I didn't know if I was going to use another one, but now what I've got is kind of a zigzag line up and down the right hand side of those cats, and I really like the way it looks. In the past, I've always shied away from doing kind of a red and yellow color scheme on a layout because it feels very McDonald's to me, but this works because I think of the little pops of pink. So I cut the word meow off of that little tiny card and put it below the word love on that die cut, and then I put the hello die cut up at the top to kind of continue that diagonal line up there. And I'm also going to put another one of those felt hearts up there, and I just stapled the felt hearts on. And I'm liking the way that's looking. So I've got 3 hearts, 2 red up at the top and 1 yellow at the bottom, and that really balances the color because there's a lot of yellow at the top, and so I've got the 2 red hearts at the top, and there's a lot of red at the bottom, so I've got the yellow heart down there. I'm using the sticker that says a wild spirit, and then there was a little space between the cat and the top of the cat paper, so I put a little arrow there. And now I'm looking for something to go next to the word hello. There, I felt like it needed one more thing up at the top, so I'm going to put a couple of tags. One of them is a sticker, and one is from the 6x6 paper pad cut apart sheet. And it brings that little pop of blue, and it's a dark blue, so it kind of matches the vine on the love die cut at the bottom. So that's something I'm keeping in mind as I put all of these things on. I am going to use some of those square glitter stickers and cut in half to make photo corners for the photo. And I think that turns out really nicely. And I will look for another way to incorporate some gold. I thought maybe I'd tuck in some of those glitter stickers in other places, but it just wasn't quite looking right to me. So what I'll end up doing is using some gold color shine from Heidi Swapp. And right about now, my layout is almost done. I'm going to move the title down just slightly to even up the space between the photos and those strips of paper. And it looks just a little bit better that way. I'm going to write the journaling before I finish this off. So like I said, I'm just talking about how I'm not really a cat person, but my daughter loves the cat, and the reasons why I keep her around and why I like the cat too. And I'm just using my black Muji pen, and I'm making my journaling kind of go diagonally too. So you can see I started at the very left of those strips, and slowly I'm going to bring that indentation line, or the indentation of each line, over to the right just a little bit, so that it kind of goes diagonally like the rest of the layout, if that makes sense. Once I'm done with that, I'm just going to use my Project Life roller date stamp, and I'm going to stamp September of 2015 below the journaling, and I'm going to stamp January of 2011 right in that space between the title and like the bottom of the photo and the red journaling strips. You'll see here in just a second. And then I'm going to add a little bit of Heidi Swapp gold color shine, and that is going to complete the layout. This is my second to last video in this series. I hope you've been enjoying it so far. Be sure to check out the Collection Disconnection series playlist over on my YouTube channel, and be sure to check out my blog where I'll have still photos and much more information, as well as links to all of the products that I used. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.